why you didn't want to get married. Could you tell us what you told me?
Yeah. So obviously, internationally, I'm not sure how boy standards are compared to Sydney, Australia. But my main reason is that men, as a 21-year-old female, looking at men in this generation, they are so immature. And you sort of look at the way they act on a day-to-day basis, and you think to yourself, how are they going to uphold any family values? How are they going to respect you as a wife? So, for example, you get a lot of like catcalling in Sydney, Australia. It's a norm. And girls these days just think, oh, yeah, a guy's catcalling me. Like, it's such a normality in Australia that people look at, like, I know young females look at that as in, oh, he's calling me pretty, or he thinks I'm like good looking. But I feel like as a matured 21-year-old female, you need to look at that as not being a norm of today's society and comparing that to, is that the type of man I want to raise a family? Is that the type of man I want to show my future kids that that's how we treat women, that's how we treat young women? And it will be catcalling from like ages 16 on to about 30 years old. Even you get 40-year-old men, you're walking down to the grocery store and you'll be walking across the lights and they'll be there sitting in their cars catcalling you and beeping you.
You're just going to get groceries.
I'll be crossing the road, even with my brother and my dad in the car, and they will beep and catcall you.
Didn't you go to the store in your pajamas and they were catcalling?
Yes. So one story, I went to Coles, which is like a grocery store for us, purely just groceries, vegetables, anything you need. I went in my gownie, like a robe, pajamas, fresh out of bed. Mum needed milk and bread before my brothers went to school. So I ducked up. It's about 5 minutes from my house. And I got out in the car park, parked the car, and I noticed there was a group of guys, like young, I would say 18 years old, because they're on our P plates. So they're not legal to drive in Australia. So you can sort of gauge an age group with P plates. So they were about 18 years old. And I saw them, they started following out after me up into Coles. And I'm walking through the aisle trying to grab some bread and milk. And then I can see them every aisle I'm going into. I can see them. They're like following me in every aisle I go into. And then eventually they approach me. They are trying to ask me all questions. They're trying to pay for my groceries. They're trying to say I'm good looking. What's your number? And it's just like, it's probably 8 a.m. in the morning. And people see that and think it's normal. Like, these boys are just interested in her. They think she's good looking. Like you should give them your number.
Is this just often? Because like you hear about these things happening here, but not in this sense. Like, are you speaking like it happens like all the time?
Like daily basis.
It's so normal over there.
It's so normal.
Like, I should be shocked when you're telling me this, right?
Yeah. Like,
because I am, but I'm like, wait, is it like actually that often over there?
It is so often. And I think it's gotten to the point where young girls think it's normal. And so no one stands up for like this behavior that the boys are doing and the way that they're treating women. So it's just this like normal standardized thing that if a guy catcalls you, it's basically a compliment.
Why do you see it differently versus your friends?
I see it differently because, like, for my friends, they're very into getting men's attention. I feel the need that you don't need a man to validate you. You should be able to stand in front of the mirror and say, I'm a good looking girl. You do not need a man to catcall you outside like the car window when you're walking to a grocery store for you to feel empowered as a woman. And especially younger boys, like, they're so immature. And for my friends to think that that's a compliment, it's really like, it blows my mind.
Have you ever given a guy your number who was catcalling you?
No. What I would do is I'll give my dad's phone number. So if they do call, my dad's answering. So, and there's been so many multiple times where they will like follow you home, and I've had to call up my brother. I've had to call up my dad, and I've had to be like, this is the number plate just in case they're following me home because they were catcalling me. And what happens in Australia, because it is a normal thing, if you do not answer or give them attention to the catcalling, for example, they'll pull up next to you and they'll beg and like make all this noise for you to roll down your window. If you do not roll down your window, they'll follow you until they get a response or a reaction out of you. Yeah.
How does it make you feel that they do that to you?
It's scary because it's like, it's not normal. I shouldn't need to feel scared or like feel that I need to bring a boy with me everywhere, or my brother or my dad, to go to Coles to get bread and milk. And I feel like younger men should be educated that it's not a normal thing to do, and it's actually very disrespectful, and no, girls will not find you big and tough to be able to just catcall women. So
how would you like a man to approach you?
I think just any sort of respectful, like, hi, how are you? My name's this. Like, any just sort of like general introduction, first of all, not whistling or not screaming out, you're hot and I want to blah, 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 like vulgar comments. Yeah, driving by. I think just a respectful introduction of, hi, how are you? Or my name's this. It just shows a different approach rather than getting catcalled.